All right, so today we're jumping straight into the fire. We're going to break down a raw, completely unfiltered conversation that went down on Clubhouse. We're going to see just how a debate about who you are and who you're attracted to can absolutely explode in a digital space like that. And boom, just like that, this one quote drops us right into the middle of the drama. You got a man trying to explain why he's into masculine presenting women, and right away, you can feel that pushback. The battle lines, they got drawn right here. So you're probably wondering, how did we even get here? Well, this whole firestorm kicked off with what seemed like a simple question, but it was a loaded one, coming from a couple of men in the room and aims directly at the women from the LGBTQ plus community. This question right here, this became the theme for the entire night. The whole room started wrestling with this idea. Is this just genuine curiosity? Is this dude just trying to understand something new? Or is it getting a little obsessive? So then a speaker named Justice hops in and offers her take on it. And she's basically saying, look, this ain't nothing new. For people like her, this intense curiosity is a pretty common thing in these online rooms. She calls it a fascination, saying some men are drawn to it because they just don't get this close to her world in their day-to-day lives. So the conversation starts to shift. It real quick moves past just simple attraction. It turns into the men in the room trying to, define the whole dynamic of a lesbian relationship, but using their own rule book. And you knew this one was coming, right? This question got asked over and over. And it's that classic move of trying to squeeze a two-woman relationship into a box that it was never meant to fit in. Trying to find roles that just might not even be there. Now look at this. This slide lays it out perfectly. You can see the complete disconnect. On one side, you got people looking for roles they recognize, the man's role. And on the other side, you got people rejecting the entire idea. It's like they're not just speaking different languages, they're playing two completely different games. And this quote right here, man, it just nails the frustration that the women in the room were feeling. The speaker's point is that assuming a woman's masculinity is just her trying to copy a man, that feels narcissistic. It's like saying men are the blueprint and everything else is just a cheap copy. All right, now this is where things get ugly, because when they hit a wall trying to talk about the ideas, the whole thing pivoted. The gloves came off and it got real personal, real fast. This was the first real low blow. You got a guy taking a woman named Billy's personal life story, all her changes, her journey, and he just weaponizes it, calls her whole life a failure just to win a point in an argument. It's wild. And that's Billy's raw response. This is the moment she calls him out for using something she shared about her own mental health against her. Right then and there, any chance of a real debate was officially dead and gone. And from that point on, it was a complete free-for-all. They weren't even on topic anymore. It just turned into this volley of insults, going after everything from somebody's age to their hairline to whether or not they even had a job. So after all the personal shots were fired, the conversation takes another crazy turn. It actually shifts inward. Now it's a debate inside the LGBTQ plus community about who's real, who's not, and who gets to even claim the title. So this whole exchange brings up this idea of an authenticity test. The notion that just because you call yourself a stud doesn't mean you'll be accepted by other people who use that same label. Apparently, there's some unwritten rules to this thing. This line right here, it says it all. It's that if you know energy. It suggests there's this whole internal hierarchy, a code that you're either in on or you're on the outside looking in. And they got down to the nitty-gritty, breaking down every little detail to judge who is authentic. We're talking about hairstyles, what kind of clothes you wear, how you carry yourself, even who you dated in the past. All of it got put under a microscope to decide if someone's identity was valid. So what are we supposed to take away from all this chaos? Well, this whole messy, emotional, and pretty ugly exchange is actually a perfect snapshot of how we talk to each other now, especially in these unfiltered online spots like Clubhouse. I mean, we really saw the whole life cycle of an argument, didn't we? It started with a simple question. That question turned into a debate. That debate blew up into personal insults. And finally, it turned into an internal war over who's authentic. And this quote from one of the women in the room really brings us back full circle. It gets right to the heart of where that initial tension came from. It all boils down to this idea of who owns masculinity and what happens when someone challenges that ownership. And that's really the question that this whole thing leaves us with. In these raw digital arenas, where exactly is that line between trying to understand somebody and just straight up attacking them? There's no easy answer, but it's something we all have to think about as we try to navigate these new online worlds.